when we talk about the NFL draft prospects within this conference, I could also make the argument that these two that you've highlighted could potentially be in that Heisman Trophy race as well.
Well, I don't know how Carl forgot about Bijan Robinson, but Bijan Robinson's got as good a chance as anybody to win the Heisman this year. He's the best pro prospect in the Big 12, in my opinion. The running backs are not a valuable commodity in the NFL draft, but Bijan Robinson has a chance to put, I think, easily over 2,000 total yards this year, rushing and receiving. He's an incredible playmaker. If he can lead Texas to the Big 12 championship this season and even expand on what he did last year, I think he can end up being one of the all-time great running backs at Texas, despite really only playing 2.5 years. He's got to stay healthy, and this will be his last year at Texas, so he's not going to be able to break, any kind of records like some of the great Ricky Williams and Earl Campbell and Cedric Benson's have over the years. But Bijan's an electric player and can go down as one of the all-time greats if he can put it all together this year. And then I think Kansas State's Felix Uzoma is a great prospect as a NFL defensive edge player. I mean, he had 11 sacks last year, got robbed of a couple of them in one of the games, but I think he will break their single season sack record this year. He's long, athletic, twitchy guy off the edge. He'll be in the conversation as a high NFL draft pick if he can, produce like he did last year. So those two guys to me are the best two guys in the Big 12 as far as NFL prospects.
Blake, did you say, now Bijan Robinson's a great player. I'm not going to argue with you there. But did you say Earl Campbell, Ricky Williams, and Cedric Benson?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
he's in that category?
Yeah, I mean, I think he is. I mean, his freshman year, he didn't play a whole lot. He did pretty well against some of the worst teams in the Big 12. But last year, I mean, Bijan, you saw what he could do. He's an electric player. Can catch the ball, run the ball, make big plays, got the speed to take it to the house, and he's got incredible vision, instinct. So I think if he can put it all together this year, Texas' offense is going to be really good. They're going to be able to really open things up with him through their passing game. So I think if he can put it all together, he's going to be considered one of the all-time greats at Texas. He's got to produce this season, and he's got to stay healthy. Got nicked up a little bit last year at the end of the season, but he's one of the all-time talented running backs that's ever come through Texas. Now, can he put it all together on the field after millions of dollars and NIL deals and Lamborghinis and all that stuff? We'll see where his head is, but my guess is he's going to have a great year.
I think people forget when we talk about Bijan Robinson, a lot of people complained he may have been underutilized when Tom Herman came to town, and then Steve Sarkisian was working him in and getting him a lot of production, but then, of course, the injury hit. This is a massive year for Bijan Robinson. We've seen him towards the top of NFL draft boards as a potential #1 overall pick type in the first round. He's not going to be potentially one of those dudes you circle as one of these secure first-round picks, but he could easily climb into the top 32 when all is said and done. But, Carl, I want to close with the other guy we mentioned, Felix Uzoma at Kansas State. This is a guy you love to watch. And why is that as we get ready for him to potentially be a first-round NFL draft pick?
Well, he's going to potentially be the first edge rusher drafted. He's explosive off the edge. He plays with great hand movement. He has great lateral movement. He's equally as good in the run as he is in the passing game. He has a great frame. He's very, very active. He has a high motor. He's just a special football player to watch. He's a guy that loves to play the game. You can tell with the enthusiasm that he plays with. And not a lot of young guys play hard anymore. He's a throwback that plays very, very hard. And I think that he's going to also have a long, successful career in the NFL. He's going to get picked up very early in the draft next year.
Carl, did you forget about a guy in Alabama named Will Anderson that plays on the edge? He might be the first pick in the draft.
I forgot about Will Anderson. But we're talking about the Big 12 today. We're not talking about the SEC today. But
you said first player drafted.
You're right. Will Anderson will be the first edge rusher drafted. Felix should be going shortly after that.